Okay, we're back from Paris. Yes, I did leave my voice there. That's why I sound like this, just full disclosure. It's our second episode, and we're just going to get right into it. We have so much to talk about. Later in the show, we're going to share with you some amazing conversations that we had while we were in Paris at the Nike Athlete House. So kind to host us. We had like a legendary lineup. Not only are they just legendary, but like all their interviews were so amazing. We had Carl Lewis, Dawn Staley, and Mia Hamm. I'm just like, I don't know. It was amazing.
They met the moment.
They met
the moment.
They are actually great.
They are.
Like they are.
We're also going to be bringing back an old segment. More excited to hear about the guests than I am to talk about the Bicker of the week. But
didn't we ever?
Here we are.
We spent 10 days in a nice, very nice, but small Parisian hotel.
So stuff goes down. It was very it was reminiscent of the pandemic a little bit, but it's all good. It's all good. Plus, we're going to have some results from the big question last week, which are you a Megan or are you a Sue? I actually had so many people. Did you have people? I had people come up to me talking about that.
Oh, yeah.
Being like, oh, I'm such a you or I'm such a Megan.
Oh, totally.
So it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, it's cute. It's cute to see it out in the wild.
I love it. But before we get to that, let's get back to Paris. Before we do that, we want to give a shout out to L'Oreal Paris. Speaking of Paris, very excited to be partnering with them. They're going to help us bring to you future episodes. We've got a touch more thanks to them, and we're excited for what's to come.
Yeah, shout out L'Oreal. Let's go.
But yeah, so back to Paris, the city.
Okay.
Paris, the city. Where should we begin? I'm thinking soccer. Should we start soccer?
Oh la la.
Ah, so good.
Oh
Megan,
la la, c'est incroyable.
USA beat Brazil 1-0. 1-0 to get the gold medal. It was epic.
You guys.
We were there. Megan, thoughts?
Well, it was a spiritual experience. We were also sitting with like so many of my former teammates.
Yeah, that was special.
Lauren Cheney, Holiday now, Ali Krieger, Tobin Heath, Brian Escurry was there. Obviously, Cindy Parlow's the president. Mia Hamm was there. Kelly O'Hara was in the stands, not sitting with us, but she was there as well. First of all, the team was incredible. The team was incredible all tournament long. They like knew exactly who they were. Mm-hmm. And I don't know when they found that out because they didn't know that when they were still in America, I feel like. Even just the send-off games, still finding their feet. Obviously, Emma, famously has been in charge of the team for 10 games and has an Olympic gold medal. 6 of those games came in the Olympics. Crazy. At the end of the tournament, I think everyone was just dead tired. It was, the Olympics is such a tough tournament for soccer, but I was just so impressed by the way they controlled the game. I think if we would have had fresher legs, and sure, everybody else says this too, but there probably would have been like more action and more goals, but they were just amazing. Like you always felt like it was going to happen. The front 3 were incredible. Again, honestly, everyone. I mean, I'd have to say everyone, but Alyssa Nair.
First it was the one-legged save, right, in the semis. Then she hit us with the one-handed save.
We have to protect Alyssa Nair at all costs.
She's unreal.
She had 2 unbelievable saves in the final. And she had more saves than that, but 2 were like the one that was in the second half, clipped in. I can't remember who was on the other end of it, but it was a beautiful ball. Player was wide open and just like the presence of it's like with goalkeepers you always think like are they just there and it hits him whatever, but no. I mean she was just in the right place at the right time. It was absolutely amazing.
Before you get to Mal, do you think that some of the not success, I don't want to put it on the success of the team, but do you think some of their ability to kind of hold it all together has to do with last year's World Cup loss and therefore expectations kind of changing around the USA team? They're going from a team that they were having to stay at the top of the mountain. Mm-hmm. Now they're a team, trying to prove people wrong. How much of that do you think played in?
Well, I think you said this, like having some sort of like really disappointing epic loss is such an ultimate motivator. I think that I don't know what pressure is more, like the pressure to stay on top or the pressure that like everyone thinks you're done and dusted and you're over it.
It changes the entire experience of a team.
Oh, I think they were listening to everything people were saying. And I think they had the experience of just a world championship. What's it going to be like? You know, media, noise, like all the stuff going around it. And oh man, I'm talking about meeting a moment.
But you were about to bring up Mal Swanson. This is a nice little segue because she's really probably the biggest difference between your World Cup team couldn't be there because of a massive, like catastrophic in some ways injury. Yeah. I'm like, what did she even do? I forget, like dislocated.
She tore her patella tendon on the send-off game. Oof. In the send-off game.
Patella tendon?
She tore her patella tendon.
Thick.
And then she had she talked about it a little bit, but she had like a crazy infection after the surgery and it took her a long time to get back. Mal has also just had like a wild career of ups and downs. And you know, she was on the team so young in the Rio Olympics, you know, obviously on the team in 2019, but, you know, hadn't really had her sort of breakout moment. It was definitely meant to be last year at the World Cup in 2023.
Yeah.
Again, the catastrophic injury. And for her to come out and not just score, you know, a goal in the final, but score the winning goal in the final on her 100th cap, which you guys know how important the caps are.
Y'all love your caps.
We love a cap moment.
What is a cap? Why is it such a big deal?
In
Tell
the
people.
It just, I don't know.
This.
It just is.
It's like, you mean a game, right?
Yeah, it's a game. Historically, they gave you a cap every time, you know, like 150 years ago or something. I don't know. It's just one of those things that soccer does.
I get it.
On Sophia Smith's birthday, which was incredible. I've won a World Cup on my birthday or won a major championships on my birthday. It's amazing. And she just balled out. It was an incredible moment. It was a great finish. And so for her to have that high and have that moment, Naomi Girma, I mean, what? I don't know.
Beyond her years.
Yeah.
Beyond her years.
Beyond her years. But everyone was fantastic and it was just incredible. And Emma, I mean, 10 games in charge.
Yeah.
I think it's all confidence. To me, it's all confidence because the players are who they are. I've played with, you know, almost every single one of them. And what I see in them is just them being themselves, even off the field. I see the way that they look when they get off the bus. I see the way that they are on social media. I see the way they're talking to the media. I see the way that they are on the field. I actually saw them right before the final. And they're just free and doing their thing and letting their talent show. And this is, you know, I think by far the most talented group of players that we've ever had. And I think that just happens. Now,
are you ranking them?
No.
Are we putting them in the...
What I'll say.
Okay.
I think
because you walked right into that.
I think they're the most talented group.
Okay.
Their legacy will be defined by them and how many championships they win.
Okay.
That's how you define your legacy.
Of course.
As you know. But this is an amazing first step, and they all did it basically under 25. That core group. I was just
going to ask, how old are they? They look like babies out there.
They are babies. They're doing all this, and they're 23,
By looking
4,
like babies,
5,
I mean
6.
Literally physical appearance.
Yeah.
They're young, which is great.
Especially that top three. They already have a lot of experience. And then, you know, throwing veterans, obviously. Lindsey Horan, captaining the team to a win. Rose has been there. Sonnet's been there. Tierna, even she's young, she's been there a bunch of times. So Crystal Dunn also. Can we talk about Crystal Dunn? I was having palpable flashbacks of the quarterfinal game in the World Cup where Crystal was overloaded the whole time and having to go 1v1 and shutting down Diani, who is one of the best players in the world, one of the best French players in the world. And Crystal just literally locked it down. That's just what Crystal does.
She does.
That's just what she does. She locked it down completely. She's such an unsung hero. And obviously as a left back, you're not always going to get the shine, but whoo, does she deserve it.
Well, especially somebody who, from what I understand, was usually in the forward spots, right? Midfield, forward.
Yeah,
more on the offensive side of things, and now had to take on a defensive role, which I can only imagine isn't easy in soccer. I just watch soccer and, you know, for basketball, you play both sides of the ball, so you're going to get a little bit of everything. Yeah. You might like one or the other, of course. For soccer, it's kind of like when you're on defense, that's it. You don't get any of the offense. I mean, every now and then you probably make a run, but otherwise, and it's kind of thankless in a way. If you make a mistake and someone scores, that's it. Whereas on offense, you can risk it all the time. That's your job. Your job is to risk it.
Yep.
And if at one time it works out, you're a hero.
Mm-hmm.
On defense, it's the complete opposite. So when I watch soccer and I watch especially defenders, that's what I'm thinking.
Oh, there's no margin. There's no margin for error. You could be 99% perfect, and if you made a big mistake and they scored,
I actually think it might be worse for, correct me if I'm wrong, is it worse for a defender than it is for a goalie? Like, obviously a goalie could make one mistake, but you're getting, you know, pelted with shots. So it's like you're doing what you can do. Whereas a defender, am I wrong?
It depends. I mean, sometimes sometimes goals get scored and the goalie has no chance. Yeah, it's like, I mean, if you throw it in your own net or something, of course.
Well,
but
that
like,
would be devastating.
no, for defenders, if you're not in the right spot, if you make a wrong read, if you don't make a tackle, if you get cut, if you have a foul, whatever. Yeah, tough.
So definitely
that's why
big shout out.
I could never be back there.
To Crystal Dunn. And also what I love about, back to Emma Hayes really fast, you know, I saw she got interviewed and she talks about how America made her. And I think that's it's like, what a full circle moment for her, because I didn't know that part of her story. And then I did a quick Google and I realized she started in Long Island. Let's go
on the island.
So yeah, she came over here because there was more opportunity. Started on Long Island, had a couple maybe a coaching job, then obviously moved into the professional league, coached you in Chicago even.
Yeah, she drafted me.
Yeah.
She's always had an eye for talent.
That's what they said. Yuck. Then she went back to England, obviously coming back
Chelsea.
here now as the national team coach must be incredible. I didn't know that about her story, and I don't want to deep dive this now. We can save it, but I always find it interesting. You guys have had so many foreign people coach your team.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much all of them since I've known you, except Jill.
Yeah. Even Jill's a little English, I think.
Oh, really? Just a little?
I think so. I'm not sure how much. I feel like there's an accent in there somewhere. We're going to have to fact check that.
Okay.
Almost.
Whereas
almost everyone.
I don't think we ever have in basketball. Men's, women's. It's not like we
would. You?
No.
Could they?
No, I don't think they would.
Yeah.
It happens on other basketball teams.
Yeah.
So American coaches have coached, China before, but nope.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting.
This could be a long tenure.
Yeah.
This could be a long tenure for Emma and this group.
Speaking of youth, like she's young.
I know.
This whole group.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're right.
And, just the confidence that she has. I mean, if there is like one drop of blood in the water about a coach being not very confident or insecure or whatever, it's just... You can almost never recover.
I always equate it to substitute teachers.
Yeah.
Like when you had a teacher, maybe one that was even stricter, whatever it was, and then when they were out one day and that sub walked in, you were like, I'm not opening to chapter 2.
No.
Sorry.
And
I'm going to the bathroom 5 times today.
Mm-hmm.
You just knew. Mm-hmm. You just knew you could roll over.
Yeah. But she's got it. She's got her own confidence just in the little, I've obviously been coached by her and I felt it back then, and seen her right before the final. I went and saw the team, so I could talk to her a little bit. Obviously after, but you can just tell she's confident. She knows exactly who she is, which allows the players to be exactly who they are. Yeah. And I think whatever decision she makes, she's just going to own it. And
well, that's what it is.
Yeah.
So that's what allows players to be who they are.
Yeah.
This is, by the way, not a verbal thing. Nobody is saying this, but when a coach has that about them, they're going to take the hits.
Mm-hmm.
If this doesn't work, they're going to take on that ownership. So you as a player don't have to worry about it as much.
Yeah.
And that, I think, allows for a little bit of looseness.
Yeah.
Especially in these high pressure moments.
Yeah. You could just be yourself.
Yeah.
They're great. The future is bright.
And
we're back.
Speaking of high pressure moments.
Sue, you need to talk to me about the basketball.
Woo!
Oh la la!
I was sweating. I was sweating. Afterwards, I was properly tired, as if I played.
I'm sweating right now.
My brain was hurting. I don't like not having control. I can tell you that much.
We won by 1 point.
We did
on a big toe from Gabby Williams.
Yeah, but
not really. I know.
I know.
But we're
going
to be dramatic about it.
I know. People love to.
Stewie let everybody know in the moment.
It's a 2.
That's a 2.
Yeah.
Tell me about the game.
Well, first of all, 8th straight gold medal. Unbelievable.
Incredible.
Unbelievable. And I think this game is really interesting for me because this is the game that we all know as the players or the staff members, those that are part of USA Basketball, we know is always possible, right? And I think it actually speaks even more to the greatness that you don't see it that often. I also think people forget at times that we've had close games like this. If I went back into the history books just in my time, we were down 4 points to Australia in the semis of the London Olympics. We actually played France in the gold medal game that year in London. And
I was there.
Yeah, I know.
In the stands.
2012. Is that some foreshadowing? So we were, I don't remember the score in that one, but we didn't open it up. So if you saw the final score, we handled it. But we didn't open it up until well into the second half. The first half was super close. And I think people, they see us win a lot. They see the greatness. I've talked about this before. They forget. It's easy to forget. It's easy to forget hard moments when a team dominates, but they're always there. And so this game is something that we always prepare for. But it was tough. It was tough. So I always talk about like the discomfort for players, but that exists for coaches too, right? And I think when I think to the women's final, it's like everyone is this is the best way to say it. You're trying to build the plane while flying. So I feel like the pressure of it all, it was happening for everybody. And it's funny, now that we're, 24, 48 hours removed, I've caught some highlights, I've rewatched some parts. And initially, I'm gonna talk about the US in a second, but initially my thought was, man, France should be so happy. When the game ended, I was like, they should be so, not happy, sorry. France should be so proud.
So proud.
And they should be. I'm not going to take that back.
Home final.
When I went and rewatched, France should have won that game. France should have won that game. And I'm not talking about,
they had opportunities.
If this player scored more, because you could say that on the US side too. So I'm not going to say if, so-and-so did this, and then you could argue all of that. They got every loose ball. They gave themselves every opportunity. And there were a couple of moments where they had control of certain aspects of the game and didn't capitalize.
I mean, they were up 10 in the second half.
They had control of certain aspects during that game and didn't capitalize. And it's not to say we got lucky. It's not about that. It's more they had control of certain aspects and didn't capitalize. That's the best way to say it. I'm not gonna go down the play-by-play because we'll be here for another, 350 years. But with that, I think the U.S. didn't play great. I think they were reactive as opposed to proactive. You saw it in some lineups. You saw it in some of the, I guess, strategy, offensively, defensively. I think our defense did hold it down, but France isn't really a scoring team like that. This game for France,
struggled scoring too.
I was actually talking to Dee about it, and she made a really quick little statement on it. It's like they're going to score, 60 to 70 points.
Yeah.
And it's either like we're going to score one more than them or we're going to score 20 more than them. So that's kind of who they are offensively. So I think defensively we held it down. Obviously offensively is where the struggle started. And the two things you can point out, turnovers, we'll get to that in a second, offensive rebounds. Wow. We gave up so many offensive rebounds, so many. And, this is how games go sometimes, and you got to play through. And this is where I'm going to give a lot of the credit back to the U.S. side, which is it was tough. They were picking up full court. They were rattling us.
Yeah, talk about Kelsey and Sabrina a little bit.
I'm getting there.
Okay.
So they were rattling us. They had everybody a little out of sorts.
Also, I just want to say, I haven't watched a lot of FIBA games. I watch a lot of WNBA, obviously, so I'm used to seeing that. It's just a hack-a-shack all the time. It's just a hack city.
Absolutely.
It's just a beat 'em up.
This is what it is.
Okay.
This is what it is.
None
of what happened out there was a surprise to anyone who's been around it. Zero surprises.
They were beating us up.
That's what they do.
We were beating them up. So many times I was like, that has got to be.
You got to play through it.
Okay. All right. So that's normal.
Yeah, it's very normal. And I've been talking about it more about just how uncomfortable these experiences at the Olympics and with USA Basketball can be in terms of playing because you're not fully a team yet. Again, I've mentioned this. And so when those moments come where, the shit hits the fan, rubber hits the road, however you want to describe it, what are you falling back on? And because you're not fully like a cohesive team yet, it's hard to know what to fall back on because each player has their own habits. They have their own style from their own teams. And so it can get really tough. But that's where you just need people to make plays. And I think the more moving forward, the more these players, because we have some youth as well. There was a lot of first timers.
Yeah.
The more these players understand that these games are not going to be pretty. You're not going to go out there. It's very unlikely. What we saw from, let's say, Steph Curry in the men's final, which we will get to. Very rarely does it happen that way. It's usually messy and muddy and like
grimy.
It's like a grind. And so it's not going to be pretty, but you just have to make enough plays. And that to me is where, to pick out a couple players, I thought Kalia Copper came in, especially late in the second half, made some huge plays offensively, defensively. Asia started to pick up her offense. But listen, I got to go with the point guards. Plum came in, her 2 threes.
Huge.
We couldn't get anything going.
Huge.
They might have been the only threes of the game. I'm not even sure. Plum hit 2 threes. That's 6 points in a, what'd we score? I think 69 points. Like 6 points is a lot. 6 points is a lot. And then when Sabrina checked in, I thought her minutes, and I told her this after the game, I'm like, you should be so proud. You did not play in the first half. And then your number gets called. You come in, you drop 2 dimes, which it's not the assists themselves. It's that they led. It's not even that. It's that they led to easy layups. We couldn't get anything. We missed a ton of layups. Again, there's a whole basketball conversation to be had here, but we missed so many layups. But that's what FIBA, that's what France is. I've played against France. I can't even tell you how many times. That's exactly how that game is going to go. And you have to find a way. And so just to get 2 possessions, Sabrina finding, I believe it was Nafisa Collier twice, 2 possessions where they just get an easy.
Yeah, little
The
bunnies.
thing about layups, they lead to relaxation. Those layups, everybody went,
I thought Sabrina's minutes were huge. Like, was she the best player in the game? No. Did she have the most
you don't
points?
have to be.
I don't even know if she scored maybe
I don't
2
think she
points.
did.
I don't even know if she did.
She didn't score.
I thought
don't have to
those
be.
minutes coupled with Kelsey. I mean, listen, I'm going to just say it, but this is the first time that we haven't had you as a point guard on the team in 20 years. Like, everybody's been used to that. Not only the players, but the fans and the coaches and everything. That's been like a point where we know Sue's going to, sort of like figure out the vibe and get everybody and run the show. And those 2 stepped up and it was hard.
It was like by committee for the 2 of them.
Totally.
Like, Plum did a little bit of the scoring, was picking up full court,
I thought they were
causing
huge.
chaos.
Yeah.
Sabrina came in.
Especially Sabrina not playing at all in the first half.
Really hard.
Whew, tough.
Really
just being
difficult.
cold.
Oh, so
and
hard.
I thought her minutes were
Number
huge.
6, baby.
Yeah, there you go.
She's taking on that number.
She inherited.
Love to hear it.
Speaking of not playing,
Love to
I
see
feel
it.
like we'd be remiss
Oh, of course.
to not, first of all, not Jewel not playing, which is, we're Seattle Stormers, so I'm mad. But Diana not getting in at all. Talk to me about it.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
I didn't like it either.
I don't like it.
Dee was on the team for a variety of reasons. Her experience, her leadership, the fact that she can not just score, but knows how to score in big moments. She meets moments.
In FIBA, too. The style, everything is different. So
Yeah, but the 2 things for me is the calming presence that she gives. Okay, so when you have a veteran like that and you put them on the floor next to 4 other players who aren't used to this, it's just going to calm them a little bit. It's going to calm them down. Okay, so I think to me the mistake was just maybe not going to her early in the game.
In the first,
yeah. Whether it was, I mean, again, I don't remember time score exactly, but there was a point later in the first quarter and then kind of like early mid in the second where I thought, oh, this is a perfect, like I could feel it as I was watching the game. I was like, ooh, like this could be a good time for Dee. And she wouldn't have had to score a point, although if she hits a 3, it's a bonus. She wouldn't have to do much, but she would have settled the game down. It was getting a little weird. It was already starting to get weird. And I think she could have helped settle the game down. But the other thing that Dee does, probably better than any player, even at this age, okay, even in the evolution of Diana as a player, she knows how to draw fouls. And I don't mean the ones driving to the basket, although she does that great. I don't mean those ones. I mean the ones where they're pressuring you, they're getting up into you, and she just has, I've asked her about this.
She knows the other game inside the game.
Yeah, she plays, right.
Yeah.
She's playing the game within the game. And I've asked her, I'm like, bro, how do you do it? Like, I need advice, because as I was watching Plum, Sabrina, some of the other guards get pressured, even the post players. I know what that feels like. It's very difficult. You're trying to get away from them, but the refs allow them so much physicality that you really can't. So like quickness isn't always the answer. If you don't have the strength, that's out the door. For D, she would always say, the slower you go, the more likely you get the call because the ref can actually see it. But it's so tempting when somebody is all up on you to try to create space. And for D, because of her strength, she's able to just like maintain that close proximity and just take hits where the ref has to see it. And I thought there was a chance, and even in like, especially in the half court, maybe not as much in the full court for her, but I thought in the half court, getting her the ball in different spots off pick and rolls, she would have drawn fouls. And what does that do? Well, first of all, it gets teams in foul trouble, gets them in the bonus. They have to then chill out a little bit.
Yeah.
They can't be all up over you. So I just thought in the first half, it could have been good to see her maybe settle the team down and play the game within the game. But regardless, we got that gold. I thought Asia had an incredible turnaround.
2 times in a row now, Olympic MVP.
I don't even remember. Maybe.
I think she was. I think she was.
I didn't know there was an Olympic MVP.
I didn't either.
New. It's new.
I didn't either.
I think FIBA's just doing it.
Okay.
I think it's new.
18 and a half points, 10 rebounds, 2 blocks, 60% shooting.
Stewie, great Olympics. Asia's turnaround from first half woes to coming back, drawing fouls. You got to find other ways. She found another way.
She has some big blocks.
Big blocks. She got to the free throw line.
Stewie too. Stewie blocked the last one on the behind thing.
Stewie. No. Stewie blocked the 3-point attempt to tie the game.
Yeah, she didn't she like go and then recover?
Oh, yeah, she fell for the shot fake.
I don't know what I'm doing in here, but
yeah, you're all over the place. Microphone.
But I mean, her arms are down to her knees, so that's her benefit. Yeah, those two were so great all tournament because they're just great players. No matter what, even when they have a bad game, it's still better than everybody else.
And then I think just to cap it off, watching 2 things. One, Brittany Griner receiving her gold medal, the tears on the podium.
Oh, I can't even talk about it. I'm going to cry.
I mean, I don't even know what that must have felt like for her.
Tearing up right now.
So, BG, we love you. That was amazing.
That was incredible. I thought what she said after was really amazing, too. I don't think it's lost on her at all. You know, the support she had at home.
Those that fought for her to get home.
Also having so many detainees overseas come home. There was a huge prisoner swap. So many people came home recently. So she's such a huge part of that. And that was a beautiful moment. I was in full tears as I am right now.
And then I do want to give a quick shout, some flowers to both, previous teammates of mine, but Gabby Williams for France. That WNBA season's continuing. We'll get to that later, but Gabby Williams, unbelievable. I think she is.
We love Gabby.
Yeah. Just, she looked great physically.
Gabby's given us both tattoos. Yeah. We love Gabby.
True story. We'll get to that another time too.
Love you, Gabs.
She's got an Amazon at-home tattoo machine.
Yeah, it works
first
well.
Ever.
She was great.
But she was amazing. And Lauren Jackson, incredible story.
Legend.
We're going to have her on the pod at some point.
Yeah.
To go from basically Australia's finest for 4 Olympics in a row to then have, speaking of catastrophic injuries, she's been through so much, retiring, missing 2 Olympics, only to return for this last one. Could have been 7 Olympics for her.
Unreal.
It's 5, which is still incredible.
Yeah.
5 medals in all of those Olympics.
Bronze medal.
This will be her last time playing in the green and gold for Australia. So love you, Lauren. Huge shout out to you. And then last but not least, I mean, we talked about D, but 6 gold medals. And now, yes, D, as she was quoted as saying, I'll be there in regards to LA 2028. I'll be there with a beer on the beach sitting next to Sue. That is absolutely right.
That's what I'm most
excited about. Bring your medals. We can go clanging around LA.
There you go.
There it is.
I'm excited that D is going to be more available for vacation planning.
She's a goat, man. Best to ever do it.
People get it twisted.
Best to ever do it.
Best to ever do it. Unbelievable. What an unreal accomplishment. So congratulations to Team USA.
Yeah.
8 straight, baby.
And now on to some other Olympic storylines.
There were other things happening at the Olympics.
Yeah, so we were all over the place. I
had the best Olympics ever.
Yeah.
I had a great time.
Everybody, I think, thinks we had the best Olympics. And it's true, we did. We had the best Olympics.
I had a great time.
So let's start with gymnastics. We were there.
Incredible.
On the final day of the individual. It was the bounce beam. It was the men's.
Oh, yeah, the men's high bar.
Yeah, the men's high bar, and then the women's floor. So women's beam, men's high bar, women's floor. But let's quickly fast forward to women's floor and what happened with Jordan Giles.
Well, first of all, I was confused about the scoring to begin with.
We all
because
were. Everybody was Googling.
Simone literally did 50-11 flips and got docked because she didn't do it perfectly. And I was like, I don't understand how her degree of difficulty is this much better. Whatever. Okay. Rebecca Andrade from Brazil. She was incredible also. So we don't want to take anything away from her. She had an amazing round and was sensational. She passed my eye test as well. We all thought that, well, when Jordan did her routine, I was like, well, that was amazing. That's a medal. That to my eyes looks like we're medaling again. She didn't. And then we had an appeal because she actually, what they thought she was going to do was less difficult than what she actually did. So her difficulty scores were lower and they appealed it. And they're like, yes, your difficulty scores were higher. So she medaled. She's bronze medalist. It bumped her up.
We all got chills.
All of
us watching.
Incredible
because we had no idea, to your point, we had no idea.
No idea.
And so you're just trying to kind of catch what's happening on the loudspeaker with the Jumbotron. And all of a sudden we thought, oh, she's fifth. All of a sudden there's like huge applause. We don't even know what's happening, but there's huge applause. You look up and it says how, you can see she's moved up to third. And it was instant chills. Seeing their reaction. It was unbelievable.
Really cool.
And
then also they had their incredible moment where Jordan looks at Simone and says, like, should we bow to her, Rebecca?
Yeah,
should we bow to Rebecca?
We did. We saw them like, they weren't
you could like see them looking back
like
and forth to each other. Just a beautiful moment, an all black podium for the first time ever in gymnastics, which was so beautiful to see. So we've got the silver medalist and the bronze medalist, and obviously Rebecca from Brazil was the gold medalist. And then like what felt like 80 days later,
literally,
there's an appeal because I don't know, over some 4 seconds or something. My thing is
1 second. It's literally like a second.
Within
they have
seconds.
a 1 minute window and they were like,
yeah. So my thing is like, okay, I get the rules of the rules, but I'm also like, it wasn't like she didn't perform to the level of being a bronze medalist. She earned that bronze medal. And now it's being taken back. I don't know if it's still in arbitration or not at this point. It
sounds like a make 'em up. Like they
it's
just
a make 'em up.
The other part of it is there has
hate
been, I forget the year, but there actually is precedent of giving dual medals in those scenarios. Dual meaning like 2 third place medals.
Okay.
So
but she didn't even tie anyone. She was better. The judges messed up.
True.
They also docked Simone for not saluting her. And then she was so petty and she like saluted them for like 10 minutes straight. It was so funny. I loved it. I didn't like it. It feels really unfair. It feels outside of the spirit of the Olympics to like have the best competitor win. I understand there's rules and there's technicalities and whatever, but to lose on some bullshit, I don't know. I'm like, don't give your medal back.
She did the thing.
She did the thing. Yeah. And she was amazing. And no one's ever going to take that moment away from her and all three of them on that podium, and having an all black podium was incredible.
But she needs the medal. Taking away the medal would suck.
She needs the medal.
I know it's like just a piece of the Eiffel Tower, but you need it. The medal matters.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Yeah.
It was amazing. So shout out to Jordan Giles.
That was incredible to witness, to experience.
That was
great. And then we can move on to our marathon day. We hit women's soccer and men's basketball same day. We logistically bodied that experience. Bodied.
Which, you are a logistical bodier.
I mean, I did all right on this one. I feel like I nailed it.
Yeah.
I feel like I nailed it.
Also, essentially, Sue's a FIBA ambassador, so we had some credentials and a certain car, and there's
curbside service.
There's a certain credential that if you show it to anyone, they're like, "Oh my gosh,
right this way,
go right this way."
Although France, I have a couple of things about France. You constantly have to watch where you're walking. The poles in that country.
They're everywhere.
I can't even.
Especially in a crowd.
And they're waist high.
Yeah,
it's like your kneecaps, forget it.
Tough.
The other thing is they really take their ticket checking and credential checking to another level.
Yeah.
That was...
We got grief every single day at the basketball, and we were there 18 times. And Sue's a FIBA ambassador, and she's also Sue. So it was like, yes, we're back, and yes, we're still the same people, and yes, we're going to the same seats.
They go hard. But yeah, so luckily because I had a lot of FIBA access, which was great. Shout out to FIBA. They took care of me, us, the entire trip in such a wonderful way.
It was great.
We do have a World Cup coming up in Germany in 2026. That's what my ambassadorship is about. So
that's right.
We'll get to that in 2 years. But you also obviously, because you are who you are, have access via FIFA. So we were able to essentially, do you want me to just run this down real fast?
I do. I want you to.
We basically were able to get FIFA credentials and get in a FIFA car that took us to the soccer game. So curbside service, let's call it. Boom, right into the game. Great seats. Everybody saw it. You were doing your thing with your former teammates. Let's go soccer. Watched them win. Got to see them get their medals from afar, but we watched the medal ceremony. And then it was like, okay, check the clock. All right, how far is Bercy Arena? Let's do this. The other thing about these cars is you get to go in the Olympic lanes. So you're able to avoid all kinds of traffic. So boom, walked out of there, the FIBA, with a B, car. And by the way, shout out to Margot, my FIBA muscle.
Oh.
I had a security guard the whole time.
Margot,
I would say what?
Legend.
5'6" on a good day.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
She needs a gold medal.
Yeah. But like,
for being Sue's security.
She wasn't really the most intimidating, but she was still my muscle.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Natalie
was, though.
Yeah, Natalie was.
Natalie from FIBA
was held it
Don't
down.
get in her way.
No.
A couple people did, and they got told right away.
Margot was my security guard in a way where when I got up to go to the bathroom, she would follow me. Not into the stall, but she would follow me.
Oh,
I'd be
yeah.
like, oh, yeah. Sorry, I forgot about you, Margot.
Oh,
like,
no.
If I,
she was on, yeah.
Everywhere I went, that was Margot. So
Yeah, she
Margot
was so
had
awesome.
the car all set up. We had to walk like
2 seconds.
2 seconds, got in the FIBA car, and now we're off to the men's game. Pull up to the men's game, have just enough time. We were sitting courtside, which is great. They had these little like suite area rooms in the back. So we get there, walk into the suite. Jimmy Fallon's there. Love Jimmy. We've been lucky enough to be on the Jimmy Fallon show.
Our little suite
on the
was
Tonight Show.
pretty elite. It was great.
Yeah, it was amazing. So kick it with him, and obviously
Melo's in
Sha'Carri
there.
shows up. So we've got this great group, and now we're about to go watch this epic men's final. So what was your takeaway from the men's final?
My takeaway, similar to the women's game, I was like, I know we're gonna win. But like, when are you gonna do it? It's getting very soon. It's getting very soon to the end of the game. Like, when is it gonna happen? We're also in France, obviously, playing France. They have the crowd was crazy. It was just, again, like, it was just like, there's so many fouls happening. It's so physical. I'm just like, when I watch the men play, I watch the NBA. These stuff, you can't even touch anybody there. So it's like so much more free flowing. And then Steph I have seen him not live because I haven't witnessed one of those live, but I have seen the chef cook a number of times. I'm from California. I used to be a Kings fan. They got really bad. So now I'm a Warriors fan, obviously, during the run. We've seen him cook so many times.
That's called a fair weather.
It's called fair weather. It's fine.
Maybe bandwagon.
We've seen him cook so many times. We've seen him cook in the finals. We've seen him cook on a random Tuesday. We've seen these incredible shots. But like, to see greatness, and I think particularly from him, because watching LeBron, I'm like in awe of his greatness and just his like sheer dominance and strength and like brute force. And he's like incredible to watch. Kevin, same thing. You're just like, wow, these players are, honestly, all of them. Steph looks like a normal person. He's tallish, but not that tall. He doesn't dunk. He's
pretty tall.
He's 6'3".
He only looks normal compared to those guys.
Well, I know, but that's what he's compared to,
Okay.
And to see him rise.
He doesn't look normal compared to normal people.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
But you know what I mean.
Okay.
To see him to see the levels of greatness on that team and to see one person with literally so many people who are incredible and, LeBron, arguably the best player ever, and Kevin's right up there and so many others, to see him rise above everyone and just heat check the hell out of France in France against France, to look off KD and LeBron and just no one would ever take that shot except Steph. And it's a wild ass shot.
He's earned that shot though.
He's earned it.
He's earned that shot.
The picture of him shooting over Wemby.
I know, that's crazy.
Is crazy. It's just an incredible
We're also
moment.
in one of the pictures.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's just
when he's doing the night from the other angle, you can see us in the background. Like,
I mean, we were going like bananas.
Nuts.
I mean, our whole section was Melo was like over.
He was
on the court. He was like over the barrier thing that you're not supposed to be over. Incredible moment to just like ice it and seal it and win a gold medal, which he's never won before. He's never been on this Olympic team before. He, as Ant said, just showed up 3 days ago.
That was funny.
He hit 17 threes in the last 2 games.
Unbelievable. I think not that different from the
the
women's team.
What do you think? This is just my fan perspective.
Yeah, no, it's not different from what I was saying. These games are hard. These games are muddy. They're grind outs, all those things. It was a bunch of people. And yes, Steph had the big shots at the end, but there was a bunch of different moments where people stepped up. I feel like I can picture LeBron late in the fourth, like just driving it down the middle, getting layups. Yep. Get off me, young bucks.
Get off me, little boys.
Too small. I think the player, KD, I think hit some big shots.
ISO at the top of the key was great.
I think the player that stands out the most, maybe falling into that like unsung hero that we were talking about earlier, is Devin Booker. I mean, he said it, a couple years ago, and I think it was Kyle Kuzma tweeted around like, oh,
great
if
tweet.
These guys play, blah, blah, blah. We just need someone who's going to stand in the corner, blah, blah, blah. And he goes, I'll do it.
He said, I'll do it.
I'll do it. And he did it.
And
it's not easy. I can't stress this enough. This is not easy. There's so much pressure. It's just not easy.
It's hard to change your role completely. You know, Devin's the, co-number 1 option on his team.
We all internally as players have a certain standard and barometer. We don't even think about it, that we want to live up to. We want to play well for ourselves. We know when we play well, we feel it. We know when we play poorly, we feel it. We know even when the stats don't match. It might indicate we played poorly, but like we know when we played well. There's just like this internal barometer. And it can be hard when you have no way of hitting that. You have no way of hitting those little measurements internally, right? Because it's not that sexy or that, fulfilling in terms of that, picking up full court and pressuring the point guard. It's not gonna necessarily make you feel that way. But it's so impactful on the game. I talked about it with Kelsey Plum. I feel the same way about Devin Booker. The way he was picking up that point guard, which, by the way, I think different subs could have been done. But the way he was picking, not on the other side. Yeah. The way he was picking up that point guard, the ways he was able to impact the game that way, the loose balls, him diving on the floor. I mean, these things,
hitting baskets.
It's the classic, don't show up in the box score, means so much. So as a player, it can be hard, like I said, when you evaluate to, he's the kind of guy where usually when he drops like 35, he's like, oh, I had a bomb night. But he had an excellent night. And I think he was the unsung hero for sure.
And he's absolutely the best dressed basketball player at the...
She said it, folks.
At the Olympics, he was sensational.
He was killing it. And it was camcorder. Yeah. Oh my God, his shoes. Quick shout out to Ben. You know who you are. The navy blue with the gold check. Woo!
Honestly,
all the guys' shoes.
All the girls' shoes too.
All the girls' shoes. Yeah.
All
Sabrina's
the guys and all the women's shoes.
check.
They all popped out with either their own signature shoe or their PEs, and they were fired. That game was like just incredible to be a part of. It lived up. It was popcorn. It was just
everything.
Bright lights. It was everything.
And the last thing I'll add back to Steph. These Olympic Games, they happen so fast for us. So it used to be 8 games, which I think I prefer, but it's actually only 6 now. And so much can happen in 6 games, but it also could go the other way. Nothing can happen. And for Steph, you don't always get a moment. I don't even mean for an individual, for a team. There isn't always an epic moment at the Olympics. You're not guaranteed epic moments in basketball specifically.
No, definitely not.
To have an individual epic moment like that, I can't think of another one.
Not like that.
Not like that. Not where you've won. By the way, I'm talking specifically in the gold medal game.
No.
Like there's a Kobe Bryant 4-point play that comes to mind. I mean, you just don't always get them. And he went out and got that thing. So, impressive. So impressive.
It was very cool. He went back to back threes to ice the game out. That's insane.
And we already talked about this. Like, you don't get to score a lot of points in these games all the time.
That's what I thought.
20 points is like having 40. 10 points is like having 20. Yeah. So to hit 4 threes in the way that he did
amazing.
Was unreal. Yeah. I don't know about you, but it made me excited for LA.
Yeah.
I think women's basketball is going to be the biggest storyline come LA 2028.
I agree.
But regardless, it just made me super excited, which takes us to the closing ceremonies, the handoff, if you will.
We didn't catch much of the closing ceremonies because we didn't go to them. I did rewatch the performance from Snoop and Dre in Long Beach.
Billie Eilish. Chili Peppers.
That fun. Was super cool.
Yeah.
We had Mission Impossible, Tom Cruise.
It was only right.
Parachuting down. He was at the soccer game. He did the whole thing.
It felt very America.
I thought the coolest thing, which I don't even know if I realized this, was the marathoners, because they're the very last event. I mean, the marathon obviously is sort of the crown jewel of the Olympics in so many ways. They get awarded their medals at the closing ceremonies.
Oh, I had no idea.
Yeah.
Wow.
So they're like on the podium at the closing ceremonies getting their medals. That was so cool.
Yeah, I had no idea.
Yeah, incredible. Coming to LA. I mean, I can't wait.
Very excited.
I can't wait to see how LA is going to do a carless Olympics because what? But I'm really excited for that infrastructure project.
I don't even get it.
I can't wait till we can stand back and be like, we did it, Joe. We're carless in LA. There's some incredible venues coming. Obviously, SoFi is going to do, I think, track and swimming. That's going to be amazing. It's going to be home Olympics, which is awesome.
So good.
Shout out to Paris, though. Paris on
killed it.
An unbelievable games. It was such an enjoyable experience as a fan. It wasn't so OD that you just felt like there was just like Olympic branding in your face all the time. You could go get your croissants, which I did every single day. You could have great meals. You could like experience Paris and experience the Olympics at the same time. The weather was great. It was amazing.
Yeah. The culture was sprinkled all throughout the games. And
the venues.
In my experience, it doesn't always hit. There's like moments where it hits, but it's not the entire time. And this just felt very, very Parisian and French. And
yeah. You would just turn the corner and it was like, oh my God, there's the Eiffel Tower. And then it was like, oh my God, there's the Seine. It was like, oh my God, we're at the Louvre. Oh my God, we're in the Palais. Like it was very, very enjoyable.
We will be right back with our Olympic conversations. Carl Lewis, Dawn Staley, and Mia Hamm. So now we have a great lineup of guests for you. First, allow me to introduce Carl Lewis.
Let's go.
He could join us.
Yeah, let's go. Don't run up here. Just walk. Just walk. It's too fast.
Carl, everybody knows who you are.
Yeah, we can give you some love.
Love some love. Love some love. Carl, everybody knows who you are, but I am going to embarrass you for a hot second.
Oh, my goodness gracious.
Carl has won 9 gold medals. I'm not even going to ask you if you have a favorite. I hate when people ask me that. The 100, the 200, the 4x1, and the long jump. Amazing. You are one of 6. So I mentioned earlier, a little foreshadowing, Katie Ledecky has joined Carl as one of now maybe 7 Olympic athletes to win gold in the same individual event in 4 consecutive Olympic Games. Again.
Incredible. Yeah.
Carl Lewis.
I'm in Katie's house.
Give it up.
How is your Olympics going? I know it's a little different. Carl, for those that don't know, is also a coach now.
Yep.
So how is yours Olympics?
Well, the coaching's taken my hair away.
Yeah.
I had hair when I started. It's going well, because you're dealing with college kids. I coach college kids. So we had 2 that were on the team this year and one that graduated, that competed. They competed well-ish, for the most part, but, 2 of them is their first Olympics, the other one. So it's evolutionary. And as you know, as an athlete from all the years ago, we had dealing with young people. You kind of sometimes never know what you're going to get, but I was really happy for them, proud of them for making it here. And so now we're on. You know, the one guy, it was his second Olympics because of COVID. He did them both while in college, with only 3 years apart. So it was a good experience here for them.
Is it more stressful being a coach or being an athlete?
Oh, you know better than that. It is worse. I think the most stressful thing, maybe in all of sports, well, a few things like the last free throw or shootout, the relay, the 4x1 relay, because, oh my gosh, yes, because
so many batons,
especially on the guy's side, because they're going so fast and there's so many people, and just, you know, you say first exchange. Oh God! And now it's like, oh, that was good. Wait a minute, there's another one, then another one, and then another one. So that's the most stressful. It's really tough. I have to be by myself.
Okay, so we talked yesterday, and I actually asked you, when we were discussing at the Olympics, when you're an individual sport athlete, you could be, if your sport goes at the beginning of the Olympics, I personally was like, that'd be great. Get me here, let me get going, and then I can enjoy the rest of it. But you had an interesting take, which was you'd rather go a little bit later. I actually want you to tell the audience about that. But then also, where is it better to go in the 4x1 or the 4x, where is it better to go in the relays?
Yeah, it's better for us to go in the second week because first of all, you can do the ceremony. You can come to the games, the city later. So generally, track athletes get there about 2 days before the games start, go to the ceremony, then we could practice on the track and see the space and all that stuff for a couple of days. So it's better that way. And it's just, it's really interesting because as you go through the process and you do the events, it goes, because you're talking about the relay. Well, the relays are generally at the end of the week. So for the sprinters, they ran the 100 and 200 the first 2 days, and then they started the 200. It was 1 day, then a day off, then 2 days. The relay starts tomorrow with the 200 final, and then the relay final is Saturday, I think. I'm Friday. I don't know if I'm the only one that lost what days it is.
What day it is. Yeah.
Okay.
We're just
Here.
It's
It's the day after tomorrow. How about that?
There you go.
So I like to relay last. You can get everything out of the way, but it is complicated because it overlaps other events.
I have a question about the long jump. Me personally, in high school, I was a long jumper and a triple jumper and a high jumper.
That's why you're such a good soccer player.
Yeah, not because of any of my talent in jumping, mostly because I didn't want to do the running. But we don't see this anymore, sprinters doing really any other event. So what was that like for you?
Yeah.
Like that's obviously like an incredible testament to your talent. And which one did you like better?
Yeah, I was a long jumper. So you cannot be a sprinter that long jumps because of the long jump. And I explain this all the time. If it was on a scale of 1 to 10 and the sprints and the long jump was a 10, the 100 meters is a 4. And the 100 is hard because there's so many things that you have to do. So the long jump may be the only event in all of sports you're genetically predisposed to not do. Because we're not designed to jump far, jump up. So now you have to go against your genetic code to learn how to really jump far. And I mean, I'm not trying to diss, but apparently they haven't broken the code recently.
Yeah. We haven't broken it.
Woo, slid that right in. You know, when you're a world record holder.
I'm sorry.
You're not giving them the key.
Well, I mean, anyway.
When you watch it, let's talk about it. When you watch it, do you notice things that the athletes are doing or not doing?
Yeah, I do. Well, the thing is that it's because of that, it's a difficult event. Like in your event, you can't start at 18 and be great. There's skill sets you have to get and those kind of things. So it's so easy to see what's going on. And part of the problem, and I think everyone will understand this, is the culture. I always tried to focus on kids being excellent, focusing on what they control. But because of the way society is now with social media and everything else, it's really about the prize, not the performance. And so they're happy winning, but the performance is mediocre. So that's what's frustrating for us who want to be the best we could be.
So what's your opinion on the importance of having big personalities in track and field, right? Like a Sha'Carri Richard, like what's the importance? Isn't there an importance there though?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, because we came into the 100 meters and they were like, who's going to win the 100 men? Who's going to win the 100 women? We didn't know. And I said, I hope Noah wins. Well, no, we don't know. Track needs a fastest man in the world because they need half the world to like them and half the world to hate them. And when they win, half the laughs and the half cries. That's important. And so when the sport is at its best, you have that one dominant person that everyone's trying to take down. Because when you're running 100 meters, basically you saw the race was so close. So the one that won ran the best race and everyone else made a mistake. Okay. That's what happens. So think about this.
Make a tiny mistake.
Yeah, in the 100 meters, if you make one mistake, you lost. Okay. So I always make this thing about if you make it in the blocks, like right in the first step, you have 99 meters to be pissed off. It's like you got that shot in the middle and you hit it and you're like, oh no, the minute it went off your foot, you had that open goal and dang it, I missed it, and you know it.
Yeah,
it's kind of the same thing.
What do you think? Because Noah has talked a lot about, he wants to be the one to bring track sort of like into the spotlight and make it a kind of like a premier sport. Mm-hmm. And even though it's like the most popular sport, arguably, at the Olympics, the rest of, the 3 years or whatever, there's not a lot of opportunities for us fans to watch it. I watched the Sprint documentary on Netflix. So what do you think track needs to do, or what's missing to make it kind of that marquee event that people can follow all the time? Is it changing it's called the Diamond League, it's changing the Diamond League, or it's having a different league, or
right.
What do you think is...
Well, I'm jealous of every other big sport because the way the federation system is set up in track and field, there's no interest to be that big because there's no interest to be professional. And that's why, sitting here with you, it's so exciting to see the progression of women's sports. And that's happening because people are making it happen. It's not just happening because it's out there. Oh, it's good for women's turn. No, we're making sure that women have access. We're making sure that they have opportunity. And we're pushing that there and creating that thing. Well, track doesn't really do that. It's not in their DNA. So unfortunately, the athletes have to do that. And we're in a space where athletes don't really understand it. Now, I know Noah's doing a great job. Sha'Carri's doing a good job. They're trying to push it. But you have to get more people, and you have to make choices, and you have to hit the challenges and difficult decisions. I just saw recently Michael Johnson came out with a new league. Well, when he did it, I backed it 100%, went to the opening. I totally support it. It's a $30 million we're bringing into the sport. Well, right away, coaches, well, I'm not going to go. Well, why? We have a women's track meet that someone's sponsoring a women's meet later this year. These are all things you have to do. So what should happen is that people sit down and say, oh, that's a great idea. Well, maybe we need to change the Diamond League because the Diamond League goes on, but the World Athletics wants to have an end of the year event. Focus on that and really support it. So I think everyone's on a different page and there is no top to bottom idea of what we really want to do.
I would go. Track is the most exciting. I've never been to a track meet outside.
This was your first time?
Outside of my own track meets in high school. I have never been to track because I'm always playing in the Olympics, and I was never able to go. And it was like by far the coolest thing I've been to. And it's like, of course, the running events are so popular, but there's so much going on all at the same time. Like you could make that a sort of marquee event, take that city to city, publicize it, put it on TV, all the things. That would be huge. I'm going. I'm ready.
All right. So Carl, before we let you go, it is when we get to 2028, the LA Games, it'll be the 40th anniversary.
44th.
44th.
It's 40th this year.
40th this year. That's what you're saying.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wasn't good at math. Never was. Honestly, it makes me nervous.
Well, just make it about money. It'll get better.
Good point. Okay. It's the 40th anniversary now of the 1984 Olympics. It's coming back to LA in 2028. Are you excited for that? What are your thoughts on that coming back?
I am so excited because I'm one of the fortunate few that had a chance to compete in 2 Olympics in my country, Atlanta and Los Angeles. And it just changes the game. I never would have competed in my 4th Olympics if it was not in Atlanta, in the home country. And you understand the travel and all of that. And the fact that we can bring that back to the States, the thing about the Olympics, everyone complains when you get it, and then everyone loves it when it comes. And what it'll do for LA, what's happening for the infrastructure, for the people, it's making LA have to think about homeless, making them think about transportation. And I just think it's going to be incredible. And then for me to go, 44 years later, never thinking I'd have a games in my country again. And then to be coaching athletes, I was just thinking a few months ago that when I was there, my parents were in the stands and my coach is over here and I'm running. And then every single day I'd meet with him after the race and I'd go back to the house with my parents. And then 44 years later, I am now the coach and the kids and their parents are in the stands. and I could share that with them. So I'm so overjoyed that they did it, and anything I can do to help, I will do it. And I just think that it's just an incredible thing for America, young athletes, and just the energy it's going to give to the country, because the Olympics is such an amazing event.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I lied. Before we let you go, we actually have one more thing.
Okay.
We do a little game. It's easy, I promise. Bench, start, cut. Are you familiar?
No, but
Okay, so I'm going to give you...
I don't think. Are you?
I'll tell the audience. I'm going to give you 3 topics, or 3 things in this case, and you're going to tell me which one you would start. So this is like basketball terms.
Okay.
So who'd be starting the game? Basically your favorite. Then who would you bench? So you have them there, but they're on the bench. And then who would you cut? So you got to get rid of it.
Okay.
Okay? So
Half my team. Go on, let's go next.
Here are the 3 things, but these are like actual things.
Okay.
So winning a gold medal on your home soil, winning 4 consecutive gold medals in the same event in Olympics, or your world record in the indoor long jump.
Okay, so the world record I'll cut.
Okay.
Get them out.
It's out. Get it out.
Oh, come on. Records are borrowed. Everything else is
That's
earned.
right. That's right.
Okay.
I like it.
So I think that I would start the 4 gold medals. Okay. And then
consecutive games.
I'd put the 4 in a row on the bench.
All right. Great answer.
Yeah.
Carl Lewis, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Our next guest will be joining us. Quick intro here. I could go on for days again. She is a Olympic champion. She is an NCAA champion as a coach. She currently coaches at the University of South Carolina. Please welcome to the stage, Dawn Staley.
Don. Now you go. Me and Dawn went to Dover Street Market. You guys know Dover Street?
I think that's where we got to start.
We need a loan from someone. It got ugly. It was good. Yeah. The Dawn.
Yeah, how was Dover Street? I heard you...
Set me back. Set me back. Set me
I heard you
back.
did.
Set me back. I got to go win another championship.
Yeah. Yep. That's right.
That bonus?
You will.
So Dawn, you are actually in a somewhat similar boat. Dawn, like I said, played in the Olympics, 96, 2000, 2004, and then quickly moved to the coaching side. So she's been coaching on the Olympic team with the Olympic team for many, many years after. In 2020, do we call it 2020? Do we call it 2021 Olympics?
I have no idea.
At
Tried to
Tokyo,
keep the branding, and I was like, it's 2021.
yeah, in Tokyo, Dawn led us to a gold medal there as well. But now you're no longer, officially, if you will, you don't have the credential. You don't have the player coach credential. So what's this Olympics been like for you?
The very best. Like,
Right?
the best of them.
People are like, do you miss it? I'm like, what?
I really don't.
You're
It
rivaling
almost,
Snoop Dogg.
Huh?
I see you around. She's up there with Snoop.
It's great just seeing everybody else go through the hardship of losing, although I've never really felt that in the Olympic Games, to winning, just on the platform winning, and just seeing everything in between. I like to see when they fall off and how they respond. I think gymnasts are the most, probably, I guess next to track, mentally tough individuals, because it's just an individual sport and you have to perform for self. And I do think they're the most like athletes that flex. They flex all the time. Mm-hmm. It just creeps in. And it's a subtle thing, but as I talked to you, Sue, about this, like to hear Serena will flex. Like, I was hurt one day. I don't even know how I keep beating these players, and I'm hurt.
But
and
I
then
do.
she wins again and again. Then she was like, finally, somebody took advantage of my bum knee.
Yeah.
And I thought that was the coolest thing. You look at Noah, he's
Flexing.
flex, like the biggest flex. But I think they have to be that way because I think part of it is a mental game.
I think we talk about all the time it being in a team sport, there's so much that you can lean on for other players. It's like you may not have your best game all the time, but someone else does. Like how difficult mentally it would be to be Simone Biles and fall off the beam. Like and then you have to get back up and just like start where you left off. Like I would just be like, you know what? It's good. I'm good. Thank you. Bye-bye.
I thought it was me though, because I was recording, and every time I've recorded an athlete here,
because we didn't want to say it, but
you're there, and you're like, okay, an American, let me record this. Like I recorded when Katie Ledecky came out, and the Australian put her clothes in the wrong bin, in Ledecky's bin. So I'm like, is this normal?
Mind game.
And then just like a young kid, I put it out there on Twitter just as a joke. But then people really got mad. And yes, they did. They was like, oh, she's playing mind games with her. And I'm like, I didn't mean it for that, And then I'm at men's gymnastics, and I'm filming, and he falls not only once but twice. And
I took some hard falls.
And I did it for Suni on the beam, and I'm like, it's me. It's me. So I didn't do it for Simone. So I guess it wasn't me.
Yeah,
it wasn't me.
It wasn't you.
Hopefully you put that camera away. I know you're going to women's basketball.
You're going to women's basketball.
So keep that thing in your pocket.
I got a question. Sue's first Olympics, 2004, her and Dee's first Olympics. How annoying were they? They had to be annoying, right?
Actually,
I mean, they're cute, but it's just like,
they weren't annoying. They had a great time. Like we watched them have a good time, and then we had to say, okay, fun time's over. It's serious time. But they had a great time. Like I'm having as much fun as they had their first Olympic Games. Like now,
I love that.
In fairness, we weren't really playing that much.
Yeah.
So
that was the issue.
We kind of had to find a way to get that release. Yeah. Just, enjoy the games in a different way.
And then you coached her. You came back and coached. Was it difficult? Is it difficult to coach players who you've played with? I know it's like a little bit of a gap, but I'd find that hard.
No, I mean, it's comfort. They know what they're doing. Like when you're coaching an Olympic team, you just get out of the way. You just allow them to be who they are. There comes a time when you as a coach have to flex a little bit. But for my experience in Tokyo, the only flex I would say was after we lost in Vegas. We had some
games are set up.
They were.
They're a little bit of a setup.
They are
very quickly, yeah. So this is now we've done this a couple times through the years, but the last 2 years, 2 Olympic years, we've done it where the Olympic team has played a WNBA All-Star team. Obviously, the U.S. could field 3 Olympic teams. So you have on one side, the Olympic team, they're trying to play like a team. We're trying to gel and figure it out. What I say earlier, no, you shoot it. No, you shoot it. Yeah. And then you have the All-Star team like,
and they all feel slighted because it's basically
a little
second
bit of
team,
a setup.
Minus some internationals.
We lost in 2021 as well. This year, the USA team lost. We lost in 2021. Go ahead, Dawn.
But there were some first timers that had long faces, and that's a no where we come from. Like we're going to win as a team, we'll lose as a team, and everybody, you may not like it, but you definitely don't show it. Whether you played 2 minutes, 10 minutes, 40 minutes, you just keep an even keel and you don't show your emotions. So we checked everybody that we felt had the long faces, and then we moved on.
You cry in the shower. You don't cry out here. You come like, yeah, USA.
So the women's basketball team is going for their 8th consecutive gold medal, which is incredible. We can give it up for that. What do you think in your experience? I'd actually like to hear both player and coach if you can weave it in. What do you think is the reason for that success?
Teammates. I've always been very fortunate to have great teammates as a player, And then, I mean, how can you not? You, D, BG, Asia, Tina, like, I mean, the pressure's on, but it's off, meaning you just allow them to be who they are and not try to get in the way. I do think it's going to get a little bit harder because that core group of players are retiring and they're deciding not to play. And then the next coach is probably going to have a more difficult job because you'll lose, some athletes that have been around for a long time. And then, the world's catching up to us, although we are the best talented collection of players. We don't always play as a cohesive unit because you need time to do that. So if you got, you got great players, you have an understanding coach that can take the heat, because it's heat. Like, I felt as the Olympic coach, something that I've never felt ever as a player or a coach when we lost those 2 games in Vegas. Like, I lost a lot of sleep, but it also focuses you. It makes you say, hey, like, if Asia Wilson is your player and you're comfortable with her, go with her. Don't care about anybody else. You can actually communicate with the other players who think, they should be starting in front of Asia or should be playing more. You can fix those things, but as a coach, you have to be really comfortable with who you're playing. And when you are, it clears up. Those first 2 games, it's like, okay, this is the first time all 12 of us have been together. Who's going to play what, where? What's the substitution pattern? So I probably went the other way, and these are our top 7. Until you all came to me and said, hey, during the Olympics, they're like, hey, I think you might want to play this player a little bit more, that player a little bit more. And that was after we've established ourselves. And I listened, and we opened up the substitution pattern, and it was helpful. But it's that kind of, you lean on the veterans, you lean on the people that have been there, and because Sue knew more than me about international players and play, and I've certainly had people that understood that part of it and helped.
There's honestly nothing worse in a coach than 2 things. When you're not confident and when you won't take feedback. So it's like, as a player, it's kind of like a little bit of like an opposite thing where it's like, no, I need this coach to be the most confident in themselves and be like, I'm doing what I want to do. And if it doesn't work, I'm getting fired. That's it. But then it's also like especially when you have an experienced team and you have players like Sue and Dee and so many players, BG, who've been there for so long, when they come with the feedback, like, you got to be, that's the humility part of it. That's the open part of it. Exactly what you're saying. So you kind of need these like 2 opposite things, but you got to be able to balance it.
Bottom line is gold or failure, and wherever the help comes from, it comes. Wherever it comes from, you take it.
So obviously you've played with incredible talent, coached incredible talent. Kevin Durant actually just broke the USA basketball record, so shout out to KD. He broke, we can clap it up for KD. He's a bad person. I'm Kevin Durant.
Kevin Durant, that's my favorite quote ever. Yeah. You know the one where he's playing for the Warriors, and they were talking about like Pat Bev locking him up, which didn't happen ever. And he was sitting down. He's so tall. So he was sitting down, all the reporters, and they were like questioning him, and he's like, "I'm Kevin Durant. Y'all know who I am. I'm Kevin Durant." That was just like the answer to all of his questions about me. And I was like, love that, Kevin.
So Katie actually broke Lisa Leslie's record, someone that you played with for a very long time. And I don't want to put you on the spot too bad, but of all the players, who's like on your Mount Rushmore?
So that's just 4, right?
Yeah. Tough. You want to field a team? You want 5?
5.
Okay, field a team.
Do the starting 5.
Lisa's on it for sure. Cheryl's on it for sure. Diana's on it for sure. Sue's on it for sure. The last one. That's hard. Asia.
Yeah, that's a tough starting lineup right there.
We're not losing a whole lot of games. We're not losing a whole lot of games.
You guys have.
But I wanted Stewie on there. I really like Stewie's.
You know what I always say? It depends who I'm sitting next to that day. Like, I'm here, so I'm on her. Thank you. You'd be on mine if I had to
You
do
were
it.
on mine. Somebody asked me that. You were on mine.
But it's hard to pick.
Is.
I mean, that's USA basketball in a nutshell.
You guys are crazy.
All right, so now I am going to put you on the spot a little bit. We're doing a little bench start cut. Start bench cut. What do you want to say it? Start bench cut? Start bench cut. All right. I think it's easy, but maybe not. All right. A gold medal as a player, a gold medal as a coach, an NCAA championship as a coach. It's rough? Okay.
Hard.
I'm going to cut gold medal as a player.
Oh.
Right? I'm going to start.
It's tough. Okay, it's a tough one.
I'm gonna start national championship coach.
I feel you.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
The reason I'm gonna go on a limb here, I think I would do something similar if it was WNBA. That's a journey. And USA basketball, sadly, is so quick. We're only together for such a small amount of time. So even though it's like harder in a sense,
but
there's this.
It's probably because I'm a dream merchant for young people. Like, it impacts like generations of families. So it's that. And if you're good enough to win a national championship, you might put yourself in the position to be an Olympic coach.
There you go. There you go.
Dawn Staley, everybody.
Dawn Staley, the GOAT. Our next guest, two-time World Cup champion, two-time gold medalist, Atlanta and Athens. The face and the star of the 99 World Cup, which changed my life, and I feel like probably a lot of people in here's life. The one, the only, Mia Hamm. Get up here. Mia.
That got me earlier.
That was a setup. Somebody's getting fired for that. They tripped Mia.
That got me earlier.
As my college coach said one time, Mia, it's right, left, right.
Oh, Mia, what's your Olympic experience been like so far? We sat together at the game, and it was way too stressful.
Yeah,
but what's
it's
your whole
much
experience
better.
been like?
So got here with 3 of my friends. We went to Champaign, which I highly recommend.
For all the Americans, that is a place. That's not just a drink.
For any
I learned
Olympic
that 4 years ago.
experience. No, it's been amazing. We watched a little bit of beach volleyball, women's skateboarding park. That was amazing.
Super cool.
China had an 11-year-old. I immediately texted my 12-year-old son, like, seriously.
What have you done?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Do something. He's like,
in
hey,
school?
Mom.
You're like, where are you? Why aren't you here?
You know what he did? He put that, like, monkey filter on his face. That's what he did.
He's like, this is
Honestly,
what I'm doing.
Amazing response. Like, I like it.
I feel like, honestly, one of the reasons I can't have kids because they just burn you all the time. They just like make fun of you and just burn the parents all the time. All the kids we have. I want to get your thoughts on the team, the U.S. soccer team, obviously, and their performance. You've been around the team. You've always made such an amazing effort to be around the team and to show up at events, whether it's World Cups.
But not in a weird, creepy way.
No, not in a weird, creepy way.
Just to
Not
put
at
that
all.
out there.
This is interesting you say that because when obviously Megan's recently retired, so this is her first like major competition being around the national team as we'll call it a fan. And you kind of had a moment, you're like, am I being too much? Is this like, am I
weird? Do they think I'm weird?
Do they think I'm weird now?
Am I weird?
Which it really is like something that comes up when you're no longer with the team anymore.
Yeah.
Having played on the teams that you came to our games, it was not weird. We're always like, Mia fucking Hamm is here. Anyways, be cool, you guys. Get a picture, be cool. But
What's up, Mia?
yeah, how did just give me your kind of like rundown how you think the team is playing, especially just a dramatic change from last year and how well all of them are doing, especially the forwards.
Well, I think there was a little bit of concern with the 2 lead-up games, but I think in the end, like we talk about, those those warm-up games are just that. You're trying to find your footing and some confidence, but at the same time, you're usually trying to work through whether it be certain scenarios that might happen on the field, down a goal, up a goal, 105 degrees. No, but
Yeah.
Mia almost died in the Athens Olympics.
Yeah,
She
yeah.
doesn't even know that. She almost died.
I think,
But then she played the whole game. She was fine.
yeah, it was totally fine. I think for me, it's just their growth and not just as a team, but as individuals. Like you see the confidence just continue to grow. And I think you're tested in every game with regards to kind of the ebbs and flows. But what's been really exciting for me is to see how resilient this young group has become. And I was looking at social media last night after their game, and when they got off the bus back at the hotel, and they are all just beaming. Like, there weren't these faces like, oh shit, we just barely, got out of that one. It was like, hell yeah, we're in the gold medal match. And they've already put that game behind them, and they know that their best is yet to come. Because you guys know that semifinal game is nerve-wracking. Like, it is the hardest game to play in whether it be a World Cup or Olympics, because the dream is to have the chance to play for a world championship or an Olympic gold, and you have to get past that match for it to happen. And so you usually play really tight. It's not the most exciting game. Small mistakes lead to goals. And just to see them just endure what they've had to do, not just with that game, but injuries and players playing different positions, yellow card suspensions. I've just been so amazed and so excited for this group because they've earned it.
Megan made note of just how in a year it seems like things have changed, and something that I'm always curious about, and I've asked Megan, I've asked Kelly O'Hare, I believe. Do you think this is just the natural progression of a group of players? Like, you kind of have to go through the mud to get to the other side? Or do you think Emma, the coach, has brought something different to this group?
I think it's a combination of both. One is when you have a league, so especially the young players, you're allowed to kind of grow and make mistakes on the national team with veteran players around you. They're like, I've got you. I've got to deal with all the shit that you don't see, whether if you're part of the leadership putting out fires, and they're just showing up to practice like barely even stretching, going, all right, hey, we get to run the beat test today.
85 minutes of warm up, and they're like,
yeah,
ready.
I'm good.
yeah.
Great.
But that's where a professional league, I think, takes those players who are kind of insulated in the national team environment, but puts them out there in a leadership role. So all of a sudden, they're asked to carry their team. And I think that experience that they have gained in their cities, on their teams, has helped them in this Olympics. You were still a part of the team last year, a lot of veteran leadership, and now all of a sudden these younger players are stepping in to the limelight, and they have that experience from their club teams. They know what to expect. And I just see them playing with so much joy, which lets you be free. I mean, I was talking to a player the other day. I was like, everyone says, what is it being in the zone? And I've always seen, I play a lot of golf. It's not always good. And when it's not good, there's a lot of tension. And I feel being in the zone is playing without tension, playing without resistance. And you have so many players right now just playing free with no tension. I mean, Germa is just stupid good. Like,
I remember the very first time I played with Nay. We were in Colorado heading into Olympic qualifiers, or Olympic or World Cup qualifiers. I think it was in 22. It's the first time I've ever played with her. I mean, I knew who she was kind of, because she came from the league, but I'd never played with her. And like our very first practice, I was with the second team because I was coming off the bench at that point. And it's always just like, okay, what's going to happen? Players are nervous. I think this is our first camp. And like 5 minutes into the practice, I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Is she like... I was like, she's not that comfortable.
Yeah, you're like, hold on, I'll try this move.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
I'm like, let me dip into this pocket, see if she sees it, saw it.
She's never seen this before.
Yeah, she was she's cool, calm and collected. And she's just such a leader out there, and she has such like a lovely presence. Like she has like the biggest smile, and she's
I got you.
Yeah, I'm good. I'll clean that up.
Yep.
She's so fast. She doesn't even look fast, but she's so fast. I want to talk about a little bit Emma, but I feel like Emma is like, I saw her today. She was relaxed. She's chill. She's like, I want to go shopping. I was like, are you going to do like film or anything? She's like, I already did it. But Emma has such a confidence and a surety about her. Like she knows exactly who she is. She brought a bunch of you guys in from the 99 team. It's the 25th year anniversary of the moment that changed everybody's lives, certainly in soccer. But she brought you guys in to one of their send-off games in New Jersey to talk to the team and just kind of have that like intergenerational experience. I know for me and my experience, we always talked about you guys. And obviously you were around a lot, and Foudy commentated so many of our games. And we always talked about like, we are them. Like there's no us, there's no Alex, there's me, there's no Abby, there's no anybody without you guys. And so what was that experience like, being able to talk to this younger team and be able to just be with them a little bit before, are you gonna take credit? You talked to them.
No. I'm not, no, hell no.
Played with them. We didn't get to the
first of all, she's the first coach that has ever done what we were able to do last month. And I remember walking out of their dining room area, first of all going, oh my God, your spread is amazing.
It's gone good, yo. It's gone good. Area. We had to strong arm him, but it's gotten good.
No. Foudy comes in and goes, we were just trying to get real cheddar cheese. You guys got a smoothie bar and like a whole salad bar, and you got someone making pasta. Like, this is amazing. Like, we were so pumped for them. But I walked out of there going, first thing I said to Jules Foudy was, that was so fucking cool. Like, it was a long time coming, but I gained so much more respect and admiration for Emma because she was the catalyst behind that. And that told me that she is so comfortable in her own skin. And you don't find that in a lot of coaches. The best coaches are, and it's one of the things I felt so strongly about Tony DiCicco, was he knew what his strengths were as a coach and as a man, and he surrounded himself with people that were better at him in the places that he knew he lacked. And a lot of people would rather have people just tell them how great they are. And I was so impressed with Emma. And all you had, like, as the 99ers were like, this is everything we know. Like, this is what we feel helped us. Take it all. Like, because there is no one cheering harder for you than we are. And I just felt that it was a new dawn, new day for the U.S. women's national team. And it excites me for this group that they get to learn from her. It excites me for the young players that have yet to kind of interact with her. But I think she's going to share that energy with the players that she coaches, who are then going to feel the responsibility to invest in the younger players. And and that's what keeps us and this program successful for generations, because you feel you are a part of this U.S. women's, U.S. soccer family.
Yeah, I feel like there's like no better indication of how much we want the team to win than watching me and you and Cindy celebrate Trinity's goal. I was like, we're losing our minds. We're not supposed to be doing this from the FIFA box. It's delegate box. We're supposed to be like appropriate here. But I was talking to Kelly O'Hara earlier and it's just like, I think she's flying over for the game. And it's like, inside, when you're on the team, that's the feel. I know you feel that about your team. It's like, I think everybody wants, there to be like, this generation was better than that generation. It's like, no generation is the same. All the generations are great, and we, hopefully can keep winning, but it was really special. And I know I heard from some of the girls, just really special that you guys were able to go and see them and impart all the things that and we're all just so similar, It's like things have changed, but really everything has stayed the same in so many ways. So I know that was so special. I have one question though, because there's something very specific about you that I feel like has gone through every generation, is like being the face of a movement in women's sports that seems to just keep happening. It happened in '99. I feel like it's happening right now in the W with Caitlin Clark. I feel like Alex and I kind of had a co-movement with that team with equal pay. Like, what was that like for you? And like, what do you see in this moment now in women's sports broadly that kind of reminds you, or how are you looking at it right now?
I mean, for me personally, I grew up in a family there were 8 of us, 6 kids. I was the 4th. So I was like the wallflower. And, I kind of knew where I stood in my family. It was like, don't make too much noise and just get your shit out of the way. And so being on a team and for people to say, hey, talk about yourself, just wasn't something I grew up doing. And I loved being on a team. Like, I just got so much energy, and I played hard because I wanted my teammates to respect me. I wanted to help them be successful. And yeah, it's what I felt my contribution to whatever environment I was. Like, that was part of my identity. I was really, really good at sports. And so it was hard to kind of have people talk about or want you to talk about yourself. I was like, oh, shit, like, I'm not the best finisher. Like, that's Michelle Akers, and I get to watch her every single day in practice. Like, I'm not the fittest. That's Carla Overbeck and, Joy Fawcett. There's a lot that I have to do to wear the mantra of the best player in the world. But, in the end, I said to myself that I just wanted to help my team be successful in whatever it took. Sometimes it was putting the ball in the back of the net. Sometimes, like you're seeing in this game, it's tracking back and winning the ball and, stopping a counterattack. Sometimes it's flank service, and sometimes it's sitting on the bench cheering as hard as you can for your teammates. But I think it's important to put a face to the game. And I also said, fine, you want to shine the light on me, but then I can redirect it on, the other 18, 22 players behind me. And that just helps the game grow, because we always talk about, you might not identify with me, but there is someone on this team that you will identify with, and you have to find your person. And so I think what's great, and social media has done it, and the fact that, streaming now, you can pick up any one of these players' games, not just in the US, but around the world. And, these young girls and boys can sit there and watch these players play and be like, man, I want to be like them.
We've referenced it so many times, the cavity commercial, where it's like, if you're going to get a cavity, I'm going to get a cavity.
All-time great.
I'm going to get a cavity. It was all-time great. I don't know if everyone knows. You'll Google it later, but yeah.
All right.
We know.
Mia, I hope you're sitting in the audience getting kind of nervous for your
I'm
bench
sweating.
But it's your turn.
Okay.
This was, actually, you do it. This was yours. This is your idea.
No, you're better at the game thing.
Okay. Well, here we go.
Just watching.
Julie Foudy, Christine Lilly,
Shit.
yourself.
Oh.
This is mine.
Is this?
I said, get her.
She goes, it'll be fine. They're all friends.
Yeah.
Because then she'll burn someone because they're all friends, you know?
I'll start, Christine, like any day of the week.
Lil.
So
Shout out, Lil.
Yeah. What couldn't she play? I mean, I'll bench Jules. I'll cut me.
Yeah. Bench
Yeah.
Jules, cut you.
I'll bench.
Not the other way around? We're not
No.
gonna cut Jules?
No, because I'm not as positive if I'm not playing. So
That's get her out of here. Yeah. Jules is a better faker.
you don't want that
Amazing.
energy.
Mia Hamm, everybody.
Mia Hamm, everybody! Wow. Thank you again to those three guests, Carl, Dawn, and Mia. They were amazing. And to be able to do it live was so cool,
really
at the
cool.
Nike Athlete House, which we've been to so many times in so many Olympics. So that was pretty iconic. I felt like definitely a little fan in there. I don't know about you.
I think my favorite part was watching Mia talk about what it meant to be able to talk to the current team. And you could sense she was getting just like a tiny bit emotional and choked
we almost got
up.
a tear out of
some
Mia.
teardrops.
We almost did.
Yeah, but I thought that was really special because I think it is, it's like weird, awkward. I don't know what the right word is when you are now, you've been in something for so long and then now you're out of it, but you want to stay connected. But how do you do that? Do you show up as a fan? Do you show up as this? Do you show up as that? And it can feel like a little like, you don't want to be the kid who graduated
weird.
high school and like keeps coming back to see
You don't want to be
everybody.
weird. Yeah.
So I thought that was great that the team, Emma especially, brought her back.
Yeah, that was incredible. I know I felt that. Even just being there and watching, I'm obviously, close to it. I just retired, but to see how excited the players were that we were there, but also we were like, oh my God, we're so excited to watch you guys. I know you feel that with USA Basketball. They look over, and sometimes players just look over and they're like basically like, hi, Sue. It's cool to continue to be able to be a part of it for something that we gave 20 years of our lives to.
Exactly. Yeah.
So,
So I thought that was really cool. I took
amazing.
a lot away from that. And now it's time, folks. Now it's time. Da, 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 da.
Bicker of the week.
Of the week.
Well, go ahead.
Well, so what's interesting about this particular bicker is it didn't happen in the moment. So as Megan alluded to, we were sharing obviously a hotel room for 10 or so days. It's kind of confined in there, although the room was gorgeous. And in the bathroom, I had my side. There's two sinks. I had a sink. Megan had a sink. I've got my hair products, my face products, my makeup. Megan has hers. And we don't really share that much in this department.
No, almost nothing.
Some of the face stuff because you've put me onto your regimen, but otherwise, not really.
Not really, no.
So, like I said, what makes this a little bit different is I noticed something in the moment, but, growth, I just was like, maybe I'm not going to say it. Maybe I'm just going to let this go. It's not that big of a deal. I'm just going to move on. Until this morning.
I was like, did you move on?
Until this morning.
Okay.
Well, let's be honest. We were like, what was our bicker? Like, what did we bicker about? And then I was like, well, there was one thing I didn't bring up. So I'm just going to bring it up now.
Great.
So
What?
I was noticing that some of my makeup products, when I would go to use them, I couldn't find them. This happened on 2 different occasions. Well,
No
that's
way.
not, you already know you did it. Why are you acting like you already know you did it? So anyways, I went to go use this eyelash. It's not
Brow gel.
brow gel. Thank you. No, but it has
It's brow gel
and
and eyelash gel.
Thank you. So I went to go use it and I couldn't find it. And I was like, where could this be? I searched. And sometimes in hotels, it's easy to blame, the person who comes and cleans the room. Like, oh, they moved it somewhere. So I looked,
You
I
never
looked,
blame them. You're always like,
I looked,
where's
I
my
looked.
thing?
I looked. Like, you don't do that. By the way, if the overarching theme of this is when things go missing of mine, I blame Megan and it's ultimately her. When things go missing of hers, she blames me and it's ultimately her. Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah.
Okay.
It is.
So anyways, I'm going to cut to the point. I was looking for this to do my little eyelash situation and couldn't find it. Looked everywhere in my stuff. And then I was like, I know where it could be. Took a hard left into Megan's makeup bag. Boom, right there at the top.
I don't think so.
Next thing. My
I don't
my
think
eyelash
it was.
curler.
I put it back on
My
your because you
eyelash
had it all
You
out
didn't.
on the top.
Well, how'd it get in your
like
bag?
chaotically.
No, I didn't. It was not chaotic. I knew exactly.
It was loose.
No, it wasn't. It was on a towel.
Loose. Just there.
Actually, the maid did that, and I liked it, so I kept it.
I did like how they did that because my stuff was falling over. Okay.
So,
fine.
anyways, it happened with the eyelash curler as well. Couldn't find it. This time, look over, boom, right by her sink. And what's interesting is you denied it.
Well,
It was in I found the gel in your bag.
okay. The thing about the gel is that I don't have my own gel right now. So we're gonna need to talk to L'Oreal about that because we need 2 gels. Okay, we need 2 of everything.
Clearly, because
L'Oreal, we
we're
need
going to
2
get
of
to
everything.
why I never want you to use my gel ever in a second.
Okay, I didn't have it, so I was like, no problem though, because Sue does. So I'm just gonna use it.
And I don't care that you use my stuff. I use your stuff all the time. I care that you don't put it back. Like I can now not find it.
That
And
does happen
on
a
top
lot.
of that,
That does happen a lot.
She was,
Or
you
I'll just
admitted
like
to
take it
this.
on a trip with me. Whoops.
You admitted this because I was like, yeah, it's like because
About the last part?
Yeah. As we said, it's like double-sided. So it was like, oh, why? I had this moment where I was like, oh, why is the lash part got a little like brown in it? So I said this to you this morning. I was like, yeah, so you use my stuff and now it's got a little like brown in it. Why does it have some brown in it, Megan?
Well, because I was filling in my eyebrows and
you
the
used what, brown
eyebrow
pencil
gel
for?
was running out because I used it all, basically. We were both using it, but I was using it a lot. And so I just started using the lash part on it.
On your penciled in
On
brown
my pencils and brown eyebrows.
So now,
Weren't you using the lash part for your eyebrows also?
no, I use the lash part for my lash.
But weren't you putting mascara on?
What? Not at the, no.
Well, you're lucky. You
I
have
wasn't.
nice dark features.
Listen, this is
okay?
how- this is how
if
it
I
works
don't
for me
tint
in
my
makeup.
eyebrows and my eyelashes, I look like a hard-boiled egg.
This is how it works for me with makeup.
Dipped in pink.
When it's time to like go somewhere where makeup is an option, right? Where I'm like, okay, I could potentially wear makeup for this. This is what happens. I think to myself, how important is this event? Do I want to have makeup on for this? And so that's one side of the scale. On the other is, am I going to want to take it off later? And I'm weighing that out. If it's super
You
important,
hate taking it
I
off.
hate taking it off.
You
If
hate
it's
taking it
super
off.
important, I'm like, I'll deal with it later. If I'm like, I could squeak by with no makeup, no one will know. That's when I will generally use the clear eyelash stuff. I don't use that when I'm wearing just mascara. I use just mascara. So that is how I knew when all the little brown residue was
Yeah.
in there. I knew you used it.
Yeah. So that's
Bicker of the week.
we travel well together though. We do, and we share
Well, that should be the next
space
one.
well.
I feel like
Pretty well.
Yeah, I feel like for our
Mostly
next,
well.
For our next Are You Megan, Are You Sue, we'll have to break down like our travel methods. Everything from getting to the airport and what time to how we pack. There's a lot.
It's all
in there.
very different.
It's so different.
It's all very different.
It's so different. All right, so who's right? Who's wrong?
I am.
Are there 2 truths? Leave us a comment on this episode. I guess we can handle it.
I think I'm wrong.
I think some people are going to be like, we'll see.
You know what I do?
They're gonna
I just, I'll just be like, it's in God's hands whether she's going to notice this or not, which I'm like, you always notice.
I actually
so.
don't think you think anything. Is that fair?
Well, I'm mostly what I'm thinking is I want to do this, so I'm going to do this. Hope she doesn't mind too much.
I don't even think you get, that's my
Hope
point.
she doesn't
Do you
see
even
this
get to
brown
that
gunk
point?
in her lash gel.
I was like, what is this? Like trying to get, how did they get in there?
Oops. Okay, so we have a quick follow-up from last week's show when we asked you to play our game, Are You a Megan or Are You a Sue? It was the Asia Wilson Olympic rings glasses version. Sue said she could never pull those off. I was like, I need them immediately. I never found them, unfortunately. Asia did, though. She still had them on, which was awesome. And we got some great responses from our listeners, so we're going to play a few of those back.
I'm going to have to go with I'm a Megan. Like, how could you not rock those sunglasses every day of the Olympics? I'm sorry, definitely a Megan on this one.
I'm definitely a Sue. I could never pull off a beret or those sunglasses.
Hey guys, totally loved your first podcast. And to answer the question if I'm a Megan or a Sue, when I was younger, because I wasn't yet secure in myself and my skin and who I actually was, I was totally a Sue. But since I've kind of blossomed and been able to accept myself more, I'm totally more likely to be a Megan. So I would totally rock those shades.
Hey ladies, I am 100% a Megan when it comes to the Olympics. I am Olympics obsessed. I've got it streaming on my phone. Doesn't matter if I'm working out, on the go. I've also looked into where to get those glasses. If you guys have found anywhere, please let us know. Just signing off. Wanted to say definitely a Megan on this one.
It was 3-2 because we each got a point for one. Because that beautiful woman who's totally come into herself and come into her own.
Well, I was like,
she was like, I'm a Sue and I'm a Megan.
Have I not blossomed?
No, you have.
Into Sue?
Just into just a bigger version of Sue.
Yeah, no, those are hilarious. I mean, this is like such like an easy one in a sense. Like you're either one or the other.
Yeah.
There's really no gray.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're either doing it or you're not.
Yeah.
And that it is what it is. It's not, there's not like a win here, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
We both won.
Yes. We're both winners.
We're winners. That was really cute though.
Cute, yeah.
We're gonna have to do some more of those. I like that.
Oh yeah, well we got some coming.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
I like the person actually who at the end was saying about how they're streaming all of the everything. That was a Megan and a Sue. That was a combination of a Megan and a Sue because you two, you've got the apps, you're streaming it, you're keeping up on everything.
It was harder when we were there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You had to get your VPNs going.
Okay. Well, that was fun. Thank you to everyone who called in.
Thanks, everybody.
We will definitely have a new RU scenario for next week. Looking forward to it.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Should we leave them with a touch more?
Let's do it.
Go on, babe.
WNBA resumes on August 15th. Not a long break for these Olympians. I think the biggest question marks are, we saw Gabby Williams, we saw Emma Messiman, we saw Marie Johannes. Are they coming back to the WNBA? If they are, what teams?
Gabby, you come back to
Also,
Seattle?
Trade deadline is August 20th. I think we might see some moves. We usually don't. We saw one right before the Olympic break. All these teams have been practicing. I'm eager to see how they show up.
Yeah.
I feel awful. The Phoenix Mercury, I think some other teams had to fly. Those players had to fly directly to Chicago. They have a back-to-back looming. Yikes.
No. Obviously, we've been like so sports heavy. We will get more into the election, and we still have like some time to do that. But yeah, it's exciting. We're into it. All right, I think that's it for our Olympic coverage. Putting a wrap on it. Again, let us know what you think about Bicker of the Week or anything else that's on your mind. Hit us up at all the ATM socials online. See you next week.